The Vanishing Scroll, a mystery in ancient Alexandria. Chapter 1. The Disappearance. The Great Library of Alexandria buzzed with its usual scholarly activity. Sunlight streamed through high windows, illuminating scribes bent over papyri and scholars engaged in hushed debates. Amidst this scene, Nefertari, a young apprentice with keen dark eyes, moved purposefully between the shelves. Suddenly, a hush fell over the library. Nefertari turned to see Thoth, the venerable head librarian, standing at the center of the main hall. His face, usually serene, was etched with worry. "Esteemed colleagues," Thoth's voice carried clearly, "I must share grave news. The scroll of Amenhotep is missing from its secure vault." A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. The scroll of Amenhotep, said to contain secret knowledge of the Pharaohs, was priceless. Its loss was unthinkable. "We must conduct a thorough search immediately," Thoth continued. "Every corner of the library must be examined." The library erupted into controlled chaos. Nefertari found herself swept up in the frenzy, assigned to search a section of historical texts. As she methodically checked each shelf, her mind raced with questions. How could such a precious artifact simply vanish? Hours passed, and despair began to set in. As the day's search ended, Thoth gathered everyone once more. "We must face the possibility that the scroll has been stolen," he said heavily. "Guards will be posted at all exits. No one is to leave the library grounds until further notice." As the assembly dispersed, Nefertari noticed several senior scribes huddled together, speaking in hushed tones. Their behavior seemed furtive, out of place. She edged closer, catching fragments of whispered conversation that hinted at hidden concerns. Night fell, and the library settled into an uneasy quiet. Unable to sleep, Nefertari rose from her temporary pallet. She moved silently through the shadowy library, drawn to the vault where the scroll had been kept. In a corner of the vault, partly hidden by a pedestal, a small object caught her eye. Nefertari's heart raced as she carefully picked up a clay seal bearing the symbol of Anubis, god of the dead. This discovery hinted at deeper mysteries, perhaps tied to ancient Egyptian beliefs about death and the afterlife. As dawn broke, Nefertari made a decision. She would conduct her own investigation, parallel to the official search. Carefully pocketing the seal, she returned to her quarters. The disappearance of the scroll of Amenhotep was just the beginning. A greater adventure, and perhaps danger, lay ahead, and Nefertari was determined to uncover the truth. Chapter 2. The Clay Seal. The following day, as the official search continued, Nefertari discreetly examined the clay seal she had found. The jackal-headed figure of Anubis was unmistakable, its presence both intriguing and unsettling. During her midday break, she slipped into the library section on religious texts, searching for information about Anubis and his connection to hidden knowledge. As she pored over scrolls, a pattern emerged. Anubis was not just a guardian of the dead, but also a keeper of secrets. One particular text caught her attention, describing a sect of priests who used Anubis's symbol as a key to unlock hidden chambers in temples. Could the seal be more than just a religious artifact? Might it be a literal key? Nefertari's research was interrupted by the approach of Ptah, one of the senior scribes she had seen whispering the previous night. She quickly concealed the seal and pretended to be engrossed in a common religious text. "Quite studious, aren't you?" Ptah remarked, his tone casual, but his eyes sharp. Just trying to expand my knowledge, sir, Nefertari replied evenly. As Ptah moved on, Nefertari couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Her discovery might be more significant than she had initially realized, and it was clear that others in the library had their own agendas. That night, unable to sleep, Nefertari decided to explore the library's lower levels. With the seal tucked safely in her robes, she crept down rarely used staircases, her small oil lamp casting dancing shadows on the walls. In a dusty, forgotten corner, she found an ancient door with a small, circular indentation. Heart pounding, she pressed the clay seal into the recess. With a grinding sound, the door swung open, revealing a hidden passageway. Nefertari hesitated at the threshold. What secrets lay beyond? And was she ready to uncover them? Chapter 3: Whispers in the Stacks. The next morning, whispers and theories about the scroll's disappearance filled the library. Nefertari, bleary-eyed from her nocturnal adventure, strained to catch every word as she went about her duties. She overheard fragments of conversations that hinted at the scroll's true nature. It wasn't just a historical document. Some believed it held the key to powerful ancient magic. Others feared catastrophe if it fell into the wrong hands. During a quiet moment, Nefertari cornered Khnemu, a friendly elderly scribe who had always been kind to her. "What do you know about the scroll of Amenhotep?" she asked cautiously. Khnemu glanced around before answering in a low voice. "It's said to contain knowledge from the time of the gods. Some believe it can grant immortality, others that it can raise the dead. But such power always comes at a price." As Khnemu shuffled away, Nefertari's mind reeled. The stakes were higher than she had imagined. She needed to find the scroll, not just to solve the mystery, but to protect it from those who might misuse its power. That afternoon, as she reshelved scrolls in a secluded area, she overheard two voices she recognized as belonging to senior scribes. "The seal is missing. Someone knows. We must accelerate the plan. Tonight." Nefertari's heart raced. They must be talking about the Anubis seal she had found. And whatever plan they had, it was happening soon. She knew she had to act quickly, but she also realized she was in over her head. Who could she trust? As she pondered this, she noticed Thoth watching her from across the room, his expression unreadable. Did he suspect her? Or could he be a potential ally? With the library closing for the night, Nefertari made a decision. She would return to the hidden passageway. Whatever answers she sought, they lay in the depths beneath the library. Chapter 4: The Hidden Passage. As night fell, Nefertari slipped out of her quarters. The clay seal clutched tightly in her hand. The library was eerily quiet, with only the occasional shuffle of a guard's footsteps breaking the silence. She made her way to the hidden door, her heart pounding with each step. Using the seal, she opened the passage once more and stepped into the darkness beyond. The air was thick with the scent of age and forgotten secrets. The passageway led downward, deeper beneath the library than Nefertari had thought possible. Ancient hieroglyphs covered the walls, telling stories of gods and pharaohs long past. She traced them with her fingers, feeling a connection to the countless generations of scholars who had come before her. Suddenly, she heard voices echoing from further down the passage. Extinguishing her lamp, she pressed herself against the wall, barely daring to breathe. Two figures passed by, their faces hidden in the gloom. She recognized their voices. They were the same senior scribes she had overheard earlier. The chamber is just ahead. Once we have the scroll, we can finally unlock its power. As their footsteps faded, Nefertari's mind raced. She was close to the scroll, but so were those who sought to misuse it. She had to get there first. Moving as quietly as she could, she followed the path taken by the scribes. The passage opened into a large, circular chamber. At its center stood an ornate pedestal, empty. The scroll was gone. But where? As Nefertari searched the room, her lamp illuminated a smaller doorway, hidden in the shadows. Without hesitation, she stepped through, knowing that whatever lay ahead would change everything. Chapter 5: Trials of the Ancients. The hidden doorway led Nefertari into a series of chambers, each presenting a unique challenge. It was as if the ancient builders had created a gauntlet to test those who sought the scroll's power. In the first room, she faced a wall of hieroglyphs that rearranged themselves constantly. Using her knowledge of ancient Egyptian, she deciphered a riddle hidden within the shifting symbols. As she spoke the answer aloud, a doorway appeared, allowing her to proceed. The second chamber contained a treacherous floor puzzle based on the constellations. One wrong step could trigger unseen traps. Drawing on her astronomical studies, Nefertari carefully made her way across, each correct step illuminating a star on the ceiling above. As she progressed, the challenges became more complex, testing not just her knowledge, but her courage and wisdom as well. One room forced her to confront illusions of her greatest fears, while another required her to solve a moral dilemma with no clear right answer. With each trial, Nefertari felt herself changing, growing more confident in her abilities and more connected to the ancient wisdom she sought. The tests seemed designed not just to prevent unworthy individuals from reaching the scroll, but to prepare and transform those who were destined to guard its knowledge. As she completed the final challenge, a sense of calm washed over her. Whatever lay ahead, she knew she was ready to face it. With renewed determination, she stepped into the next chamber, unaware that her greatest test was yet to come. Chapter 6: The Rival Seeker. As Nefertari entered the next chamber, she was startled to find she wasn't alone. A hooded figure stood before an ancient altar, hands hovering over a cylindrical object that could only be the scroll of Amenhotep. "I wondered when you'd arrive," the figure said, turning to reveal a man's face, handsome, but with eyes that held secrets. "I am Imhotep, a scholar from Memphis." Nefertari's guard went up immediately. "How did you get here? What do you want with the scroll?" Imhotep smiled disarmingly. "The same as you, I imagine. Knowledge, power, the secrets of the ancients." He gestured around the room. "I've been stuck at this final puzzle. Perhaps together we can solve it and share the scroll's wisdom." Despite her misgivings, Nefertari found herself drawn into the intellectual challenge. Imhotep's knowledge complemented her own, and together they made quick progress, deciphering the room's enigmatic symbols. As they worked, Imhotep shared tales of his travels and studies. Nefertari was fascinated, but a nagging doubt persisted. How had he navigated the trials so easily, and why did he need her help now? Their breakthrough came suddenly. The altar began to glow, the scroll levitating inches above its surface. As they both reached for it, Nefertari caught a glint of metal in Imhotep's sleeve, a hidden blade. In that moment, she realized the truth. Imhotep was no scholar, but a skilled thief, using her to obtain the scroll. Their eyes met, mutual understanding flashing between them. The final trial wasn't just about knowledge, it was about discernment and trust. As Imhotep lunged for the scroll, Nefertari had to make a split-second decision that would determine not just her fate, but potentially that of the entire world. Chapter 7. Betrayal in the Shadows. Nefertari's mind raced as Imhotep lunged for the scroll. In a flash of intuition, she recalled a detail from one of the earlier chambers, a warning about the consequences of greed. As Imhotep's fingers brushed the scroll, Nefertari shouted a phrase in ancient Egyptian. The altar flared with blinding light, and Imhotep stumbled back, crying out in pain and surprise. "You fool," he snarled, his charming demeanor evaporating. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" Nefertari stood her ground. "I've protected the scroll from those who would misuse it, like you." Imhotep's face contorted with rage. He lunged at Nefertari, blade glinting. She dodged, using the defensive techniques she'd learned in her training. Their battle ranged across the chamber, each seeking advantage. In the heat of the fight, Nefertari realized Imhotep was herding her towards a hidden trap. At the last moment, she sidestepped, causing him to stumble into his own snare. A cage of energy sprang up around him, imprisoning the would-be thief. Panting, Nefertari approached the now harmless Imhotep. "Who sent you? What's the true purpose of the scroll?" Imhotep laughed bitterly. "You're in over your head, girl. There are forces at work here, beyond your comprehension. The scroll is merely a key to something far greater and far more dangerous." Before Nefertari could press further, a hidden door slid open. Two figures entered, Thoth and one of the senior scribes she had overheard earlier. Thoth's eyes moved from Nefertari to the imprisoned Imhotep to the still floating scroll. "Well done, young one," he said softly, "but your trial is not yet complete." Nefertari tensed, unsure whether she faced allies or new enemies. The true purpose of the scroll remained shrouded in mystery, and she sensed that the most difficult challenge still lay ahead. Chapter 8. The Chamber of Truth. Thoth stepped forward, his eyes filled with a mixture of pride and sorrow. "Nefertari, you have shown great courage and wisdom to come this far, but the final trial cannot be overcome with physical skill or academic knowledge alone." The chamber around them began to shift and change, reflecting Nefertari's thoughts and emotions. She saw images from her past, her first day as an apprentice, moments of doubt and triumph, the faces of those she cared for. A disembodied voice echoed through the room. "Seeker of knowledge, why do you pursue the scroll? What drives you to uncover its secrets?" Nefertari's mind raced. Was it curiosity, ambition, a desire to protect others? As she grappled with these questions, the room reacted, creating illusions and obstacles that mirrored her internal struggle. She saw visions of possible futures, herself as a renowned scholar, as a powerful mage, as a protector of ancient wisdom. Each path held appeal, but also danger. The scroll's power can reshape the world. Thoth's voice cut through her thoughts. But at what cost? Are you willing to bear that burden? Nefertari closed her eyes, centering herself amidst the chaos of the chamber. She thought of all she had learned, not just about the scroll, but about herself. When she opened her eyes, her voice was clear and steady. "I seek the scroll not for myself, but for the betterment of all. Knowledge is meant to be shared, not hoarded. I would use its wisdom to enlighten, to heal, to bring balance, never to dominate or destroy. As she spoke, the chaotic visions around her began to still. The chamber grew calm, suffused with a warm, golden light. Thoth smiled, a look of profound relief on his face. "You have answered well, Nefertari. The final trial is complete." The scroll floated gently down into Nefertari's hands. As she touched it, she felt a surge of connection to countless generations of seekers and protectors who had come before her. She realized that this was not an end, but a beginning. The true challenge lay ahead, using the scroll's wisdom responsibly in a world filled with both wonders and dangers. Chapter 9. The Scroll Revealed. With the scroll in her hands, Nefertari felt a surge of energy course through her. Ancient knowledge seemed to flow from the papyrus into her mind, overwhelming yet exhilarating. Thoth placed a steadying hand on her shoulder. "Breathe, child. The scroll's power can be overwhelming at first." As Nefertari regained her composure, she looked at Thoth with new understanding. This was all a test, wasn't it? The disappearance, the trials, you orchestrated it all. Thoth nodded gravely. The scroll chooses its guardian, not the other way around. We needed to ensure it fell into worthy hands. The senior scribe, who had accompanied Thoth, stepped forward. "Forgive our deception, Nefertari. We had to be certain." Questions flooded Nefertari's mind. But what of Imhotep? The rival library? A final test, Thoth explained, to see how you would react when faced with temptation and danger. Imhotep played his part well. As if on cue, the energy cage dissipated, and Imhotep stepped forward, all traces of malice gone from his face. "My apologies for the deception, young scholar. You performed admirably." Nefertari's head spun with the implications. The entire mystery had been crafted to find a new guardian for the scroll, and she, unknowingly, had proven herself worthy. Thoth's expression grew serious. "But now, you face a choice, Nefertari. The path of the scroll's guardian is not an easy one. It requires sacrifice, dedication, and the wisdom to know when to use its power and when to refrain." Nefertari looked down at the scroll in her hands, feeling the weight of responsibility it carried. The choice before her would shape not just her future, but potentially the fate of the world. Chapter 10. A new chapter begins. The journey back to Alexandria was tense, each of them lost in thought about the implications of the stolen scrolls. They traveled swiftly, using secret routes and magical shortcuts that Nefertari and Amenhotep were only now learning existed. Upon their return to the Great Library, Thoth called an emergency meeting of the senior members of their secret society. Nefertari and Amenhotep, still new to this hidden world, found themselves in a room with some of the greatest minds of their age, scholars and mages whose public personas hid depths of knowledge and power. As Thoth recounted their discovery at the temple, Nefertari watched the faces of these learned men and women grow grave. The stolen scrolls, it seemed, were part of a collection known as the Codex of Infinite Realities. Texts so powerful that they had been split up and hidden in various locations across the known world. "If someone is collecting these scrolls," one elderly scholar said, her voice quavering, "it could mean the unraveling of the very fabric of our world." Plans were made, tasks assigned. The society would use all its resources to track down the stolen scrolls and uncover the identity of the thief. But as the meeting concluded, Thoth had one more announcement. "Nefertari and Amenhotep," he said, his voice filled with pride. "You have proven yourselves not just in the trials of the scroll of Amenhotep, but in real and dangerous circumstances. It is the decision of this council that you be fully inducted into our order and given the rank of junior guardians." A ripple of approval went through the assembled scholars. Nefertari and Amenhotep stood, overwhelmed by the honor and the responsibility being placed upon them. As the meeting dispersed, Thoth took them aside. "Your lives will change dramatically from this point on," he said softly. "You will be called upon to travel to distant lands, to face dangers both magical and mundane, and to make decisions that could affect the fate of the world." Nefertari and Amenhotep nodded solemnly, the weight of their new roles settling upon them. "But remember this," Thoth continued, a twinkle in his eye. "You have each other, and you have the wisdom of ages to guide you. Trust in your training, in your instincts, and in the bonds of friendship that have brought you this far." As they left Thoth's chambers, stepping out into the familiar corridors of the Great Library, Nefertari and Amenhotep shared a look of excitement and determination. The quiet life of scholarship they had once envisioned for themselves had transformed into something far grander and more perilous. They were no longer just students of history, they were now its guardians, tasked with protecting the delicate balance of knowledge and power that underpinned their world. As the first light of dawn broke over Alexandria, painting the sky in hues of gold and pink, Nefertari and Amenhotep stood ready to embark on the greatest adventure of their lives: the search for the stolen scrolls, the unraveling of the mystery behind their theft, and the defense of their world against forces that sought to reshape reality itself. All of this lay ahead, but for now, in this moment between night and day, between their old lives and the new, they simply stood together, friends and guardians, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold. Their journey as protectors of the world's most powerful secrets had only just begun, and the greatest chapters of their story were yet to be written.